Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Oh, I like that. I heard the whole flow of it. I mean, I stepped on half of it because I kept going. But
yeah,
no,
you
did
kept
good.
going. I mean,
I
stepped
know.
on my toes. Fine. They finally hear me.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. I'm a dominating presence in this podcast. Welcome to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. That is Jen. I am Dave. Episode 218. We are in the throes of the dog days of summer. I wish we had the money to get the rights to that Florence and the Machine song, "The Dog Days Are Over," because I love that song.
Spend that much money.
It would work well. I'm pretty ssure we could probably get it for $100. By that I mean like $25,000.
I was going to say.
So we're not going to risk it. You're not going to hear it on some other podcasts I have that are not money-making propositions. They're just hobbies or whatever. We might throw it on there, but this one, not so much. So you'll just have to imagine it going on. Anyway, so welcome back to the podcast. Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Disney this week by kind of getting my plan of attack together for Lightning. My first go for my personal trips with the new Lightning Lane multi-pass system.
Multi-pass and single pass.
Friday.
Yes.
That's Friday. Yes. I don't it's fast pass.
Now, remind me how many days you're going to be there, for the weekend or for the week, or
2 days. It's like literally because we're going on a cruise next week.
Oh, that's right.
After the cruise, we're gonna just jump on the Bright Line, head up to Orlando, take a couple days in Disney because we get back on a Friday. Right. So
have you done the Bright Line before?
Why would we not? No, my first time on the Bright Line.
Oh, it's great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Which station are you catching it in? The Miami
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay,
Lauderdale.
Yeah, we got it in Miami. But
you got it in Miami.
It was so comfortable and it was so easy and just they had snacks and everything available for people. I mean, it's very, I don't know, it's very clean. You get on the train. It just, it's like a train. It stops at certain stations and it goes into Orlando. And just, we had a blast. Well, I say we had a blast. It's not like we had a party on it, but we were very comfortable. We felt very safe. It was efficient. There was somebody walking up and down the aisles asking if we wanted things. I mean, some of the snacks cost money, but we got like a bottle of water. I liked it. I really liked the Bright Line.
Yeah, so I'm excited to ride it. So we were supposed to do it a different time and it didn't work out because of the ship getting in late and whatnot. So this time we're going up to Orlando, spend the weekend. Nice. It'll be lovely. So very, very nice. So no more than 90 minutes ago, I was on a treadmill running a 5K. I finished this up and I got a shower. And as soon as I got a shower, I got dressed and got all gussied up here for the podcast and then set everything up and then sent you a link. And here we are. But last week, of course, I signed up for and I may have shown this off, but I signed up for the virtual series. Here's the box. Yes.
This big old chunky box right here. The virtual series. And in this box is a couple of medals. And also, they sent cheese and pretzels, by the way. So these have been in this box since June. Plastic cheese. Yep. And they got a pin there, and I got like a little snack container. And they send 4 medals. They send 3 medals for each 5K and 1 completer medal. So last week, and I'm somebody who I'm not gonna get into this box until I run my 5K. I got 3 5Ks to run. I was gonna run them June, July, August, like I did last summer. However, it just didn't work out because I had a hard summer with a kid at home. Blah blah, whatever. So I'm running all 5Ks this August. Last week I ran and got myself this guy's the Mickey Waffle.
Oh, Mickey Waffle.
Kind of opens up here and he kind of moves back and forth. So right here on the air, I'm actually opening up my second medal here.
Ooh.
You hear the crackle of the paper for those listening on the podcast. Of course, the virtual series is the Disney Snack virtual series. And I got the little Mickey bar right here. Hold up the camera. Mickey bar right there. There we go.
Oh, that's cute.
I earned that today. So guess what? I'm going to put it on and wear it during the show because guess what? I earned it. I've got I'm in my office, and so right across here, and you can't see this obviously, but there's like a line of hooks on the wall. I got to get me one of those fancy medal holders, but I've got all 4 of mine from last summer, and of course my couple of 5Ks that run Disney 5Ks or whatever, and my Castaway Keys, and so I got to find a place for these. But next week, I'm hoping to have I'm going to run my final 5K next Wednesday to get the 3rd medal and then the completer medal, and I have all 4 medals. So I hate running. Running sucks. I hate running altogether.
But you're doing it anyway.
Well, I'm doing it
I
anyway because
I
guess
have
what? You gotta do it.
a whole
That's,
list of medals that I
you know,
have earned, and I hate running. So yeah.
this is mostly a Disney travel podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
But if for somebody's listening, let me just say this, and this is something you have to come to terms with, and I came to terms with this a long time ago because I went a long time without working out, and it showed. And when I say working out, I don't mean just going to the gym, but I mean any kind of exercise, doing any kind of exercise, just getting out there, whatever. And if you're somebody like me, who I was like, I just haven't done it so long, I'm not going to do it now. It's going to take forever to get back into it. You just do it. You just stop saying, it's been a long time. It doesn't matter if it's in a week, a month, 5 years. You just do it. And when I'm on the treadmill running, I'm running for a purpose because I want these medals, but I could walk it if I wanted to. It's a 5K. It's only 3.1 miles. So if I took an hour, I could walk that really at a decent pace. I run it because I want to get it done and over with. And that way I'm finished with it. But every 0.1 of a mile, every 0.2 of a mile that I run, that is 0.2 of a mile more than I would have been running if I was just sitting on the couch, or if I was been sitting around going, I just haven't done it so long. Why should I do it now?
Yeah.
And that's my encouragement to you guys out there. If just whatever it is, whether it's building something, doing a project, whether it's running or walking or reading or relationships or whatever, you just, even a 6% effort is 100% more than a 0% effort. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So there you go. And with that, let's talk about some Disney news. So this is the kind of news that I wish we had Heather on, because we're going to talk about real quick the Disney Adventure. Now, you and I are not really well versed on the Disney Adventure, and I don't know that
not as much as Heather is. I mean,
because it's going to be sailing from Singapore, and she is much more versed in the Far East than we are. Obviously, her with her daughters from that area and everything. So she's been over there. We have not. I don't know that we'll go. Jen, I don't know if it's next year or the year after you're going to plan an agency trip overseas. I'm just waiting for that to happen. Well, I'm sure that you are. But the Disney Adventure will sail from Singapore. It is the largest ship in the Disney fleet. Now, it's important to remember that it is a ship that was taken over from another company. And
this is not built from scratch by Disney.
Right. So this is going to look very different. It's the former Global Dream is now going to be the Disney Adventure. And they've got a central park with interior facing balcony staterooms, which looks amazing. It's called the Disney Imagination Garden Zone. It's one of 7 themed zones on the ship. And those zones include, and I'm pulling the article up here, the Discovery Reef, which is shopping and dining, themed to aquatic characters and nautical stories. San Francisco Street, it's an entertainment area for the families with an assortment of games and activities. The Wayfinder Bay, an open-air poolside retreat themed to Moana. The Town Square, themed to Disney Royals. This will include shops and lounges, cafes, restaurants, entertainment venues. Toy Story Place, an interactive playland with themed food venues and water play areas. And finally, Marvel Landing, feature all new attractions and experiences that showcase imaginative representations of guests' favorite superheroes, which we heard this week that they're going to be featuring a different kind of pool on the ship. And then, of course, will be Deadpool. Deadpool is going to be on Disney Adventure, which I am finding extremely comical that Disney has embraced this character so much, because it is such a hard R character that small children, while they see, and I've seen the Deadpool stuff at Disneyland on like the videos and stuff, and they're great. They're very family oriented, obviously. And, they're really, really funny. And whoever played Deadpool, whoever plays him, Deadpool comes out very interactive. He's very good at what he does. But the kids can't come home and be like, Mom, I saw Deadpool at the parks. I want to see the movie now. No, you don't. You don't. And you can't.
You can't.
You cannot see this movie. Are you 20? No, you can't see this movie.
Okay, to be fair, like 18. Okay.
Yeah, and I would say, it's very hard R is what I want to say. And so, just parents, just be cautious. I have heard some stories on TikTok about movie theater owners, movie theater people that work there, that they're telling parents, hey, I see you're buying your kids tickets to Deadpool Wolverine, just so you know, this is this kind of movie. This is not a kid's movie. And then, of course, people get upset when they come out. Why didn't you tell me? Ma'am, I tried to tell you this is not a kid's movie.
This is not a kid's movie.
I'm sorry, you're out 20 minutes. You couldn't handle 20 minutes of this because, anyway, Deadpool Wolverine, great movie, not for the kids. So, Jen, I know that you're going to kind of be upset about this. This is a closing that was recently announced, and something that okay, so I want to prepare you for this because it's going to tug at your heartstrings here. It's not Bug's Life. They haven't announced that yet. I know you'd be happy about that. But down the street, Fast and Furious Supercharged is closing. Now, temporarily, of course, because in recent years, they closed it at night because they needed the queue for the Halloween Horror Night stuff.
Oh,
and usually the ride would be open during the day. Well, this year, it's closed completely. Now they're saying that it likely will reopen sometime in November, and it might because it's a people eater. It holds a lot of people.
It is
But there
people
is a
eater.
chance this ride may not reopen because people hate this ride. This is a terrible ride.
Because it's not a good ride.
This is one of the worst attractions I have ever done.
I went in like, and I haven't even seen the movies, right? I'm like, when people say it's like the Fast and Furious, this is going to be a great ride. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm excited for this ride. And I was like, really? This is the ride. This is it. Okay.
The 3D is so bad.
It's
so
bad.
Bad. For those not familiar with the Fast and Furious attraction, basically you get on a big, what's quote unquote party bus, and like many of the attractions from Universal, it's not a long trek. It kind of rolls into an area, and the actual physical vehicle stops, and around you are 3D screens, and everything, all the action's happening on 3D screens, and they're trying to say, Dom and all the gang are trying to save the day. The Rock is there. There's guns and explosions in the cars. And it's like, I'm just watching a movie, and a really bad one at that. It's just, it's a 3D. It's terrible.
I wouldn't pay to see that movie.
No, it's not good. Now, I will tell you this. Fast and Furious 1 and 2 are good. I like Fast and Furious 1 and 2. I think 5 is the best. It hits its stride around 4 or 5. 5, it's really weird to say that a franchise, the 5th one is the best. 5 is phenomenal. It's not smart, but it's such a fun action film. Because that's when The Rock comes in. You got Vin Diesel. You still got Paul Walker. I mean, everybody's still in there. It's just really, really good. Yeah. 6, okay. By the time you get to 7, problem with 8. I can't believe I keep going up in numbers on these. The problem with 8 is when they start taking themselves too seriously. I think 5 and 6 made Vin Diesel so much money. He's like, well, people love these rides, and so now we're going to make them serious. And people, we want to give something that people can think about. 8, 9, and 10 are so bad. 10 is horrifically bad. It is just a terrible movie. And there's one more coming because 10 is it's 2 parts. There's one more coming, and it's awful. So yeah, this ride is not good. So I'm hoping it doesn't reopen. All that is to say that I'm hoping it does not reopen. Liberty Square Riverboat is also closed for refurbishment. Now
that one makes me sad.
It's easy for people to read into this because they're like, oh my gosh, you're closing down Sawyer Island. I don't know. But it's actually scheduled to reopen in 2 days. So don't feel bad about that. I think you're going to.
This is the time of year where they typically do take it down for a little bit.
Yep. And there's no word on Monsters Inc. Land. I know everybody's on the edge of their seats. What's happening with the Muppets? What's going to happen there? Is it going to go to Launch Bay, which is where everybody hopes it goes? But the argument for Monsters Inc. Land is the infrastructure is already there. Yeah. Like if you close the Muppet Courtyard, you already have a restaurant, you already have a Muppet Theater building to use, you already have a whole area to use versus building things up. And I'm like, Disney, just build some new stuff. Don't take over stuff. Just build some new stuff. Yeah. So there is all of that. Disneyland opened up for booking. Now we can book all of 2025 in Disneyland, and it's really exciting. Disneyland, exactly, because we're still waiting on November and December. Correct. For Disney World. And I looked just a few minutes ago, and there's nothing available for
we double checked to make sure we didn't miss something.
Exactly. I was like, well, maybe it's up now. And so there's a 499-day hotel rule that I say was in place at one time, where and this is across the board, industry standard, no matter what hotel it is, no matter what company it is, you can't book a hotel room more than 500 days out. And Disney abided by this rule as well. I want to say last year they opened up a lot more than 500 days.
But they opened packages. They did not open.
That's true.
That was the difference. It was not a hotel room only. It was a package.
That is very, very true. So I'm glad you specified that because I wouldn't have thought of that. They opened packages. And this year, as of right now, as of today, we are 500 days from January 1, 2026. Which
2026, yes.
I can't believe I'm saying this, 2026. Jen, do you realize that by the time the D23 stuff is all done, by the time that and I know we'll be deep in doing other things as well, and the Mary Poppins ride will probably not be done by then. But by the time all this stuff is done, let's say it'll be 2030. 2030. Jen,
I can't actually. Years. We're gonna have to not talk about that because I can't.
You'll be in your mid-40s by then, Jen. What in the world?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in my late 20s by then. I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be in my 50s. What the hell? I don't understand.
I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth.
We are happy to help you with all your Disneyland needs. Of course, there's 2 parks there. There is Disneyland. There's California Adventure. You got the 3 hotels, Pixar Place, and you've got Disneyland Hotel, and you've got the Grand Californian. And there are a number of good neighbor hotels right in that area. Yes, whenever really I book Disneyland, I try to book hotels that are all within walking distance, about 20 minutes, unless requested, hey, we want to stay at blah, blah, blah hotel over here. That's fine. We'll work on transfers and stuff. But I love giving families the option to just walk to the parks, and you're at the gate in 20 minutes. And when you're in the gate, you can be at the other gate in like a minute and 45 seconds, which is incredible.
And if you stay a Grand Californian, you can be there in 30 seconds.
Exactly. So that's even better. A last bit of news here. The Halloween party is selling out. It is getting out. August is gone. So right now, the 21st is when we're recording this. 23rd, 27th, 30th. Those days are already gone.
Done.
September, 2, 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, 20, all gone. So you still have 5 days left in September, the 17th, and then the rest of the September 20th, 29th. October dates are beginning to sell out. The 11th is now gone, as is the 29th and 31st. So this is one of those. And previously we've told you when these tickets came out for sale, we were like, hey, don't feel like you have to run out right now and buy your ticket. Exactly this moment. It's okay. Give it a little bit of time. Well, now we'll tell you that if you want to go, you need to get your ticket.
You need to go. You need to get it.
Every day I wake up, every couple of days I wake up, I'm like, oh, there's another date gone. Oh, there's another date gone. There's another date gone. There's actually a party happening on the 4th. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go or not. I'm crossing my fingers, trying to work it out where I can get down there that weekend to go to that party, but I keep checking for that date to see if it's sold out. So far, it's still there. But if you guys want to know what dates are available, you can always go to uponaStarTravel.com/blog. We have blogs on Jollywood, the Christmas party, and Halloween party, all right there. You can check the dates. I update about once every day, once every 2 days to which parties are available. Nothing in Jollywood, nothing for the Christmas party has been sold out. But as we roll into September, I would imagine those Christmas dates are going to start selling out pretty fast. They're going to start going as well. So get those things taken care of. So Jen, we are in what we call the dog days of summer. It's close to the end of summer. School's back in. My kid's back in school. All 33 of your children are running around the country doing whatever it is that we do when you're not around. So yes, it's hot outside. I don't actually know when the official National Dog Day is. There is an actual National Dog Day. But
there is, but I don't know what that is.
National Dog Day 2024. It's August 26th. Oh, guess what? It's next. So when you hear this in a couple of days, it'll be National Dog Day. What I meant to say, Jen, was to celebrate the upcoming National Dog Day. That's awesome. Honestly, I had no idea. I was thinking hilarious. It was like earlier this year. I had no clue. So we're going to talk about our favorite Disney dogs. We're going to give our list of our 10 favorite Disney dogs.
I already know your number one. Okay.
Oh, I don't think you do actually. I think you know what. I think you think you know what it is, but I don't think you know exactly what it is. But this is across the spectrum of movies and parks and all that good stuff. Anything Disney related. So we'll kind of talk about that. Jenn Dave, have you ever owned a dog? Have you ever had a pet? I know you don't have one now. So.
I don't. My lifestyle is not very pet friendly. But yes, growing up, I actually did have a little Shih Tzu. He was black and white. His name was Bartimaeus.
Bartimaeus, of course.
Bartimaeus. And
was this before or after you got married, or you said
growing
up?
Before. Okay. Yes, it was growing up. He was a good boy. He was a good boy. Yeah.
Nice. Whenever I was a kid, maybe we moved to Alabama when I was 9. Since back in the 80s, and I think because we lived in an apartment, and when we lived in Texas, lived in an apartment. Moved to Alabama, we had a yard. We actually had a house and a yard, everything, and it was really the first time I had a yard. And so we actually had 2 dogs. My grandmother, I could live with my grandparents. My grandmother got a dog. It was her dog, a little basset hound named Cleo. And I had a basset hound / English bulldog named Betsy. It had webbed feet, by the way. Big, huge paws. Just the cutest dog ever. And of course, unfortunately, Cleo died because she ate some insulation as we were insulating our house.
Oh, dear.
She got sick and died. Betsy was very, very sad. But Betsy lived on to be about 15. So I got the dog when I was 9. Betsy passed away when I was in college.
Oh my gosh.
Loved that dog. And but that's really the only dog I've ever had. Again, like yourself, lifestyle plus our home itself does not conducive. We could get a dog. I'm sure Campbell would be fine with the dog. He probably would love the dog, but it's just not something we want to spend money on. Because somebody would have to take care of that dog. We can barely take care of ourselves. I can barely get Campbell up in the morning, get him dressed, So I'm a Disney.
Let alone also walk the dog.
Exactly. I'm a Disney autism dad. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't throw a dog in there. What the heck? But we can enjoy Disney dogs. We can talk about those. Yes. So, and I actually have mine ranked. I don't know if you have yours ranked or not, but I have mine ranked.
I can rank mine.
And I'm going to give my number 10. I'm going to say Dodger from Oliver and Company.
Oh,
now here's the thing. I haven't seen Oliver and Company in a very long time. But I'm going to say Dodger because he is voiced by Billy Joel.
He
And I
is.
love Billy Joel. I am a big Billy Joel fan. If you look behind me there on the CDs, which I can't point exactly where they are, but there's an entire row of Billy right in there. There's an entire row of Billy Joel CDs, all of his studio albums
I
right
love
there.
Billy
I've been
Joel.
collecting them over the years. He's so great. The Stranger is probably one of my favorites. But he's the one that Dodgers one that walks around singing, "Why should I wear it? Why should I?"
I love that song, and I will tell you, probably like once a month, that song starts going through my head for whatever reason.
Probably when something is thrown at you, like you're like, why is this my problem? Why should I worry? Why should I care?
Which
So,
honestly, Dodger is on my list. And so he's like,
good.
Yeah. So let's just talk about Dodger. I remember seeing Oliver and Company collecting little Happy Meal toys also.
That's awesome.
When I was a kid. So
do you know what kind of dog Dodger is? Or was drawn to be?
Oh, a terrier of some sort?
He's a Jack Russell Terrier. Yes.
Okay.
Jack Russell Terrier.
Which totally makes sense because Jack Russell Terriers are. Yeah.
Oliver and Company is Oliver Twist. And so Dodger is Oliver's best friend, who would later kind of betray him in the novel.
A little bit in the novel.
A little bit, whatever.
Yeah.
This cast in this movie is pure late 80s and 90s. Billy Joel, Joey Lawrence, who is Oliver, Cheech Marin. I don't know that Cheech Marin is a Disney legend, but if he's not, he needs to be. He has done so many voices in so many things at Disney.
But he has done, Cheech, hello.
Bette Midler, Dom DeLuise is in this. Richard Mulligan, which people from the 80s will know his face.
Yeah.
Robert Loggia, again from the 80s, but great cast. So Oliver and Company. Jen, your number 10.
Actually, we'll put Dodger as number 10 since we just talked about him. And he was riding 8, 9, or 10. I was still deciding, so that just decided it for me. That way, it's just right up.
Fun times. Okay, so I'll go with number 9 then. Number 9 on my list is Hooch from Turner and Hooch. Now,
what a cute.
This is somewhat of a stretch because it is Touchstone Pictures, which is distributed by Buena Vista Pictures and Disney. Of course, Disney owns all of that, and it's not something they just purchased. It's something they've owned for a very long time. But Hooch is a what kind of dog is he? Let me look here real quick. But isn't
he a bulldog? A French?
I think
he's a
bulldog. He's a French Mastiff. Actually,
French Mastiff. Okay.
Yes. His real name was Beasley. He was a
Doge
de Bordeaux, which is a French Mastiff, and had a stunt double named Igor. But Hooch was a big, just slobbery dog with Tom Hanks. And this is back before Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan. This is before Tom Hanks really hit his stride of I'm Tom Hanks and I'm amazing, which he is.
Right.
This is back in his comedy days, The Burbs and Splash and Dragnet and Turner and Hooch, making a lot of the and Big. And Big was
Big. I was gonna say, it wasn't Big around there. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, my number 9 is Hooch. I just love that big slobbery dog in that movie. Haven't seen that movie in a while either, but Hooch is great. Your number 9.
My number 9 is actually also from Oliver and Company, and it's Georgette.
Okay, Georgette
the poodle.
Poodle.
She's the poodle, and
yes.
I mean, not shockingly, because I was like, oh my god, she's so cute, she's so pretty, and she was like the French poodle and all prissy and like, honestly, like she represented the character Nancy, I think, from the novel. Wasn't it Nancy?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you because I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember the novel, but in any
case, I'm pretty sure I have my character straight there. Loved Georgette. I don't know. I liked to play again my Happy Meal toys. I always got to be Georgette because I was the oldest sister. Also, my sister was didn't care, and she's like, whatever, I'll be Dodger. I'm like, okay.
Well, let's be honest. You need to pick bougie dogs, and Georgette is about as bougie. Poodles are about as bougie as it gets.
She was like extraordinarily bougie. So yes.
I can imagine Georgette running by All Star Sports and just peeing on the wall.
She doesn't know what that is.
Running straight to Grand Floridian and curling up in one of the chairs.
Correct. I mean, So love Georgette.
Number 8 on my list. This is from a movie from 2012. This is called Frankenweenie. I love.
Forgot about Frankenweenie.
Burton. It's a 3D stop motion animation science fiction horror comedy film, which is a lot in there. Voiced by Catherine O'Hara, Martin Short, Martin Landau. Basically, it's a little boy who lost his pet, and he goes and puts together like a Frankenstein version of a dog. And the movie is great because he keeps trying to spend time with Sparky, which is Frankenweenie. And Frankenweenie obviously has problems because he's a makeshift dog, not a real dog. So there's a whole travails in that. This is actually based on a Tim Burton short. He actually did a small short from 2005, where he did like a 10-minute film or something. Made this into a full movie. One of those movies that, as you said, you forgot about it. A lot of people either have forgotten this movie exists or they don't know this movie exists at all.
I totally forgot about it.
But it's not for like 5 or 6-year-olds, but something I think a 10 or 12-year-old would really enjoy.
Would
It's
probably like,
very,
yeah,
I don't want to say
middle school.
macabre, but it's kind of fun gothy. It's black and white. Animation is beautiful. Animation is so great. The stop motion animation is great. So if you like Nightmare Before Christmas, I would definitely recommend giving this a try. I have to look to see what you're talking on your next one. I'll look to see if it's on Disney Plus because I'm not really sure. But Frankenweenie, my number 8.
All right.
What about
So
you?
my number 8 is Jock, and he's the little Scotty dog from Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp.
And so, I mean,
Yes.
spoiler alert, you'll get some other Lady and the Tramp at some point, because growing up at one point, this was probably, and I actually remember like where I lived, probably when I was like maybe 6, 7, 8, I watched this one a lot. Like for what I think we had like, on the VCR, we had VCR'd it from
Right.
the Disney Channel. And so it was just one of the ones that I loved watching over and over and over again. And I loved Jock's little accent, and he was just so cute. It's little tartan, little coat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jock is a Scottish Terrier voiced by Bill Thompson, who is a actor from that radio actor from the 30s and 40s. So that's, I mean, nobody's gonna know who that is.
Nobody,
now.
but I mean, that was like a 50s.
Yeah,
Lady and the Tramp was like 50s, I think.
And Jen, you might know Bill Thompson. He played multiple roles on the radio series Fibber, McGee, and Molly. I'm sure you're a big Fibber, McGee, and Molly completist there.
Obviously.
So, yes, Obvi, you know all of those. I mean, those words have never escaped my lips until just now. Let me just say that right now. So, number 7 for my list, favorite Disney dogs. This is probably one that you might have on your list, and that's Nana from Peter Pan. Nana is just
I do have Nana,
big,
so we'll make her 7.
Nana is just this incredibly wonderful big dog. And I'm trying to find out what kind of dog Nana is. She's
no, she's a the mountain dogs, the ones that hold like the little
Saint Bernard.
Thank you, Saint Bernard. Yeah,
Saint Bernard.
Yeah,
Newfoundland. She's a Newfoundland.
Oh, a Newfoundland.
Dog.
I stand
That's
corrected.
what it is. Yes.
I thought she was a Saint Bernard. Okay,
so that's okay. That's all right. But yeah, she's the Darling family's nursemaid, and she's so cute, and she's so loving, and just wonderful and creative, and she doesn't have a lot of talking and stuff. But Nana's one of the first ones you see. Nana's one of the first ones you see in the Peter Pan attraction as you round that corner and see the visuals. Oh, we forgot to mention this in news, and I'm going to say this too. Did you see the changes they made in Peter Pan? I think this is kind of an important little sidebar.
I don't know if I did.
Okay, so Disney as a corporation, and this is sort of a small soapbox, not a big one, small, a little small. Disney as a corporation is kind of on 2 fronts. One, they have to appease all the people like us that are like, don't change anything. We love everything like it is. But they also have to look to the future and say, you know what? There are things that in our parks that were created as a product of their time, but just aren't quite as good as they should be. Now, now there are some things that I think they may change. I'm like, nobody cares about this. Why are you changing this? There are other things like Pirates of the Caribbean, and we may protest and be like, we love Red, but in essence, there's a whole new generation of fans that are growing up never understanding that when Red's up there asking for the food and whatever, that was a scene where women were being sold to ornery pirates. And so that change, fine. I'm fine with that, right? So of course in Peter Pan, there's that scene where we have all the Indians sitting around the campfire, very stereotypical, the way they look and everything like that.
Right.
And that was problematic for Disney. And there was this whole course of like, are they going to take the ride out? And what do they need to do? Whatever. They've changed that scene, but they've left the essence of that scene. Tiger Lily is now dancing. She and her grandma are now in a dancing move where they're like moving to, and I don't think the animatronics are moving, but like the whole system is moving to where it's almost like a Native American dance, kind of honoring the Native American heritage.
Which actually comes from the movie.
Which
there was
exactly. And I think
it's
fantastic.
I think that's
great.
It's
an incredible compromise.
I
rather
love
than
that
taking everything out. Yes, exactly.
I love the character of Tiger Lily, actually, because whenever I used to watch the movie and I was like, I don't know. I just always loved her. So I'm glad that they left her and I'm cool with that change.
Yes, I think it's great. I think they changed that. So Nana is my number 8. You had her on your list. I'm sorry, number 7.
Yeah, and I just swapped it
That's fine.
with my number 6 because why not? That'll work.
Right.
Yeah. Nana was love Nana. Like, come on, Nana. Like little Michael, like she sprinkles the pixie dust on Nana's butt and she's like kind of coming with it. She's on her leash, so she can't actually finish flying.
So number 6 on the list. Buster from Toy Story. Now, this is Toy Story 2 and 3 and 4. It's really fun watching these movies because at the end of Toy Story, the Christmas is coming or Christmas is there and they're looking at the presents and Buzz is like, I'm sorry, Woody's like, Buzz, what could they get that could possibly be more worse than you? And of course you hear Andy go, a puppy. And they're like, the movie ends. Buster comes out. He helps Woody save the day by going rescue Squeaky from the yard sale. But of course, he's this ornery little dog running around. By 4, Buster is kind of fat and slobby and old.
Yeah.
So it's fun watching this dog kind of progress through the years because Buster is now a very old dog. I don't know that Buster's going to be around for 5. We'll see. But Buster is a dachshund. He's a flat out, just straight dachshund, and a fun dog. So I love Buster from Toy Story. So Buster is my number 6 favorite Disney dog.
All right. My number 6, I've got Bruno. And that's the Bruno that we do talk about, which is the Bruno from Cinderella.
Okay. All right.
Because
I haven't. Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me about this one because I haven't seen Cinderella in so long.
Oh gosh,
there's a dog in Cinderella. I think
Bruno's like a bit lazy, right? But at the very end, he does sort of help with that final scene, like in the glass slipper and everything, and like chasing Lucifer the cat, and so Bruno and the horse. Of course, we also love the horse.
Yes. Oh yes.
Well, yeah, they both play a part, and Bruno is also the one that becomes the coachman on the carriage. They get Bruno to help.
Right.
So he doesn't really have lines. He's definitely a sidekick sort of character. He's not even as main of a character as the mice. But
has a rivalry with Lucifer.
Yes, always going after Lucifer, and that's key in that last scene, like him cornering Lucifer because Lucifer is like stealing the key, and the whole the mice have to get the key for Cinderella, and so he does play a part, and I, for whatever reason, always love it.
And Bruno's a big, slender bloodhound dog, and so that's the kind of dog he was thought of for. Yep. And I'm looking at the pictures. You can see that he becomes the coachman, and which I love how Disney made the people that the animals become look like
the animals.
It's really kind of fun. It's really fun.
They did such a cute thing with it.
So number 4 on my list, and he's around here somewhere, a Slinky Dog. I love Slinky Dog. Not just the dog. Of course, back to Toy Story, of course. Slinky, voiced by Jim Varney in the first one. A little trivia here, and we may have talked about this before, but of course, Jim Varney passed away by the time you get the third one. And so Blake Clark, who's a comedian and also a very good friend of Jim Varney, they asked Blake Clark if he would do the voice. And Blake Clark went to Jim Varney's estate and said, "Hey, can I do this?" And they said, "Absolutely." And apparently after Toy Story 3, they told Blake Clark that Jim Varney would have been proud of what he did with the voice. And Blake Clark cried, and he just broke down and cried because he was so proud that he made his late friend proud. But I love Slinky Dog. He is one of the best friends you're going to find to Woody. He and again, I'm very versed with Toy Story and Toy Story 2 because these are movies now in our home that we're watching all the time. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing Slinky Dog all the time. And so he's always just like, he's sticking up for Woody, and he's like, "Hey, my friend Woody would not do that." Just whatever. And it's I love Slinky Dog, and I love how loyal he is. But also I love the ride. He got his own attraction. There aren't a whole lot of attractions in Disney World based on dogs, and he got one, so it's great. So number 4 of mine is number 5 of mine is Slinky Dog. Sorry,
all right.
4. We're at 5.
We're at 5, aren't we?
We're 5. 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, okay.
5. Sorry.
Great.
I changed 2 of mine around, so I had to scratch my numbers up.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, see, I'm between 2. I was gonna do this one, but now I feel like I want to change it. Okay, I'm gonna change it. Number 5 for me is a twofer.
Okay.
Because I can't separate them. Sorry. And it's gonna be Pongo and Perdita.
Of course.
I like, and how do you pick one over the other? You can't. So you've got to put Pongo and Perdita together, and their love for their puppies, and I just always thought they were adorable. And for each other, like
I mean, that is like a Disney love story that don't seem to get talked about very much. They are so wonderful together.
Yeah, just like Roger and Anita. Like, and I always like, I don't know, but until I found out the Dalmatians are actually a lot of work, I was like, what? Dalmatian? And I'm like, oh wait, no, maybe I don't want a Dalmatian, but they are so cool. And I don't know. I also, my sister loved dogs. So another one that we watched, I mentioned Lady and the Tramp, but 101 Dalmatians got a lot of playtime too.
Yes. Yes. Again, another movie I haven't seen in a while. I really want to go through and see a lot of these movies again. And when we get the Gen CU going finally, I think another thing that we're talking, because you're talking about Patreon forever, another thing that we may do, and you don't have to be involved in this unless you want to, because you don't have a lot of time, is going back through the movies from the very beginning, from Snow White, and maybe doing a little segment on each one of those, because
we've talked about doing like the Renaissance, or doing like the Golden Era, or
exactly. So
yeah.
Number 4 on my list, and I think this is what you think is going to be number 1, but number 4 on my list is Bolt. I love Bolt. He's a white Swiss Shepherd dog from the 2008 film. I am a Bolt stan. I'm a Bolt enthusiast. I love, of course, Rhino is my guy from that movie. He's a sidekick.
This wasn't hamster or gerbils, though. So.
Exactly. And of course, part of the Disney canon, Bolt is. But he is, he's a dog who is a superstar actor, but he doesn't know that he doesn't have powers. Because his owner Penny is all, and that's what he's been portrayed as, is this dog with powers. He's been played up to the whole time. He doesn't realize, and so when he's left out in the wilderness to find his way back, his powers does not work, because he's like a super dog, right? So he meets Rhino, who is this super fan, who is a hamster, and thinks Bolt can do anything. He meets Mittens, voiced by Susie Essman, who's a cat who knows that Bolt is a fake, and ends up helping him out. And they become the best of friends anyway. Become a great, after all the drama, they become a great trio together, which is nice. Voiced by John Travolta, which probably one of the best things he's done in the last 15 years. Because I don't know if you've noticed, because his career is not very good right now. He's made a lot of bad movies. I'm a movie guy. A lot of bad movies. But Bolt, number 4. I love Bolt. So.
That's a good one. I have a feeling that this is going to steal your thunder for one of them. But my number 4 is Doug.
Of course. He's on my list somewhere.
Yeah, I figured he might be on your list. I honestly, I struggle even putting him at 4. Like, I could even put him higher. I just, and I know we'll talk about him later, so I won't take too much, but I just love, like, I just met you and I love you.
Doug is so great. He's so great. Yeah, we'll talk about Doug in a minute.
Okay.
So number 3 on my list, I'm going to say Rolf from the Muppets.
I didn't even think about the Muppets. I'm so mad at myself.
Rolf. I love just who he is. I've always loved him. I loved his, it's one of those, like, people, I kind of go back and forth on my favorite Muppet. It's almost like the parks. Like, what is your favorite? It depends on what day it is, because someday my favorite is Kermit. It goes back between Kermit, Gonzo, Rolf, and Fozzie. But I love Rolf. He's a piano playing dog. Rolf the Muppet. I'm trying to think of who he's voiced by. He is voiced by now can't find it here. I believe he was voiced by Jim Henson. Yeah, he was created and voiced by Jim Henson. Yep. Yeah. He's a scruffy brown dog. He actually was there's really no dog.
I think he's like
species,
a mutt. Like
I guess if you had to say it, he's a scruffy brown dog of indeterminate breed, though part bloodhound, part corgi, with a rounded black nose and long floppy ears. That is probably more description than Jim Henson would probably even give you.
Agreed.
He'd be like, it's a dog. He's a big dog, but he always talks like this, and he kind of sings, and he's the one that sings the song. And I want to say the Great Muppet Caper, or maybe Muppet Sing Manhattan, where he's singing about girls. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. Love it. Love Rolf. And so that's number 3 on my list is Rolf the dog.
All right. My number 3 is literally based on a song. And if anybody knows who this is, it's going to be shocked. Her name is Peg, and she's in Lady and the Tramp. She is one of the dogs in the pound, and she's got like the fur like over. She's the jazz singer. He's a tramp. He's a rover. And I do not know why, but I loved that dog growing up. Not a main character at all. Loved the song. Loved the whole jazz vibe. So she gets number 3 on my list.
She's a stray female Pekingese, by the way. Pekingese, with a Brooklyn accent. Peggy Lee, the 50s, 60s superstar Peggy Lee plays her. No, her name is Peggy Lee, actually.
Well, the dog's name, the dog is Peg. Yeah, the dog is Peg.
Yes, and so I think the voice is from Peggy Lee.
Is Peggy Lee the voice?
Sorry, Peggy Lee voiced Darling, which is Lady's owner and Jim's wife. Also voicing Peg, a stray female Pekingese with a Brooklyn accent, and also voiced Cy and Am, the Siamese cat. So Peggy Lee had a lot to do in this movie.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize she did all those voices. Good grief.
Her resume is a paragraph on this one film. So she did a lot. So number 2 on my list, I gotta go Pluto. And I like Rolf more, but Pluto is so traditional. He is Mickey's best friend. He's the dude. I mean, he's just, and let me just say this for the audience that Jen and I had a discussion before we even did this about Goofy, whether Goofy was a dog or not.
We had to decide.
And we decided before the show that Goofy we're not going to say Goofy's a dog. So Goofy Max, that whole Goofy movie thing.
They walk on two legs.
Yeah,
that was the criteria. These dogs all walk on 4 legs.
And so you might say some of these. I mean, Rolf kind of walks on 2 legs.
Rolf.
But he's also a Muppet.
He's also a Muppet.
But anyway, so we decided Goofy walking. He's not it, but Pluto is officially a mixed breed dog. His first appearance was in September of 1930, which was almost 94 years ago, in a movie called The Chain Gang, short called The Chain Gang. He was unnamed. He was named Rover in The Picnic and became Pluto in a 1931 short called The Moose Hunt, created by Walt Disney and has been voiced by various actors, including Paul Frees. Bill Farmer, who also does Goofy, is the voice of him now since 1990, actually. So he's been doing that quite a while. But that is Pluto, Mickey's best friend. He's just a fun dog. He's always fun in the parks and everything. He's not one that I'm like, I gotta go eat Pluto, but Pluto is great. I love Pluto. So,
I love that. My number 2, again, I can't split up the duo. Like, I actually did try. I was like, no, I'm going to split them up. Yeah, no, Lady and the Tramp. You can't.
Lady and the Tramp.
You can't rank one over the other necessarily. And I love that, like, Tramp suddenly became like very respectable. He's like, no, I can be a house dog. And, like, Lady became adventurous because of Tramp. And like, I told you, so cop out. I got like 4 dogs from Lady and the Tramp, but like legitimately, when I think of Disney dogs, these are all ones that are in my head. I actually have a canvas somewhere of Lady and the Tramp. Like, it's such a cute canvas. So yeah, I gotta have them together. And
so Lady is a Cocker Spaniel.
She is Cocker Spaniel.
American Cocker Spaniel. And Tramp is a mongrel with a mixture of a Schnauzer and Terrier. Yes. And so, he is. I'm trying to think who voices both of these dogs. I haven't seen this one in a long time. Do they even talk? I don't remember.
No. They absolutely talk. And they're trying to get like tell Lady that, because the baby came along. And so they were, getting, Lady out of the house, and the Scotty dog has part of it. So there's a whole thing. And then at the end, it's happily ever after, the spaghetti scene in the alley.
Of course.
And it's so cute. So yeah.
Barbara Luddy, voice actor, does Lady. Larry Roberts does the Tramp. I don't know either one of them, but I'm sure if I went to IMDb, I'd see a list of
you probably know.
And I'd go, oh, that. Oh, he did it. Oh, you did that. Okay, great. So that is Lady and the Tramp. Have you seen the remake on Disney Plus? I have not.
I have not. I've heard
it's actually pretty good for what it is.
I have heard that because it's like a live action.
Yes, which
quote unquote
was strange. And this was in the streaming era of Disney. I think it's a movie that would have gone to the theaters had it not. It came out in 2019. So Disney was created in 2019. So Disney, I think, had just released Disney Plus. This may have been one of the ones they were like, get Disney Plus and you'll get this movie.
It might have been it. There was something with it because I remember it was like, and I remember almost going to watch it, and then I don't know, I got distracted.
Yeah, now I feel like I need to watch it. Tessa Thompson, Justin Theroux, Benedict Wong, Sam Elliott, Clancy Brown. So a lot of good names in this. So number 1, of course, and we referred to it before, and that is Doug. I love Doug from Up. I think Doug is just a fantastic Disney character all around. Yeah. I just met you and I love you, and the whole thing. And I do not like the Cone of Shame. I think it has given us a ton of one-liners from that movie. Of course, very loyal. He ends up, and of course, you had Alpha and Gamma and Beta, the bully dogs.
Oh, the bully dogs.
Of course, Alpha ends up getting the Cone of Shame around his neck, whatever. I don't like the Cone of Shame with his voice and stuff, but Doug he's a golden retriever, just so loyal and so great, and so much fun. I love meeting him in the parks. He's a great character to meet in the parks, usually with Russell and just how he runs around and stuff. So Doug, my number 1 favorite Disney dog. Jen,
love it. And mine is Pluto. Like, how do you not love Pluto? I mean, so solid as a number 2 or a number 1 choice, but I mean, he's Mickey's dog. He's like the original dog that you always think of. And he's a fun meet in the parks too. If whenever you meet Pluto, he's always good. Like at, I love when he does the ears, like a Garden Grill. I feel like he's a really good character at Garden Grill when he comes
He's
around.
one of those characters that and I think a lot of characters like this, but Pluto especially, if you have something Pluto on you, Pluto paraphernalia, like a pin
he goes
or a shirt, he's all over that. Like Stitch,
yeah.
Genie, if you ever get to meet Genie, Doug is like that, but especially Pluto, those are characters that like they see them, they're just like, I've been represented, they go crazy. And I
Yeah, they love it.
Sometimes I actually will have some pins in my little fanny pack that I don't wear, but if I wore a fanny pack, I'd have pins in there. I will pull one pin out and stick it on my lanyard for whatever character I'm meeting, just so I have it on there, just so I get that moment. So is that cheating? Probably, but it's my trick.
It's fine.
Some characters that we did not mention. We got Max from The Little Mermaid.
Yes, he was on my honorable mentions.
Yep. Old Yeller. We didn't mention him. Shoot. Let's see.
Oh
Percy
my God, you got
what?
I know what you just did.
I know he's got a rabbit. I know it. I'm just saying. I'm going through this list. Percy from Pocahontas, which I could care less about Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Chiffon, which is the dog from Shaggy Dog. Copper, which is the dog from Fox and the Hound.
I couldn't put him on because that movie makes me cry, so I couldn't.
Yes, a ton, like you said, of dogs in Lady and the Tramp. Also from Oliver and Company, we had Toby. I'm sorry, no, Toby is the Great Mouse Detective.
Toby's the Great
Mouse Detective. There were a lot more in Oliver and Company as well. Benji, which I saw as a kid. I loved Benji.
I love Benji.
Benji was so great, and Scud from the Toy Story films, which I would.
There's one other one that you didn't mention.
Oh, what did I mention? What else did I mention? No,
Beauty and the Beast, the footstool.
Oh, that's right, the footstool.
The footstool.
Yeah, the footstool. Which always makes me think of like it always makes me think of Mrs. Potts and how much she loves Chip and all her other children. They get no love whatsoever.
They get no love. I mean, maybe they're not her children. Maybe they aren't her children. Did you?
Maybe, but she doesn't even talk to them at all. And so
yeah, they don't even have faces.
Yeah, awkward. And then you got all those servants in there that are like, okay, we get punished for 10 years, and I have to be a coat rack because the master was a jerk to some stranger lady.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
So yeah, it is kind of sad. Anyway, so that's Beauty and the Beast. So there's our rundown of our favorite Disney dogs. Jen, you will be on a cruise next week. Tell us about your cruise. Where are you going?
We are it's just a quick 3-nighter, and we're gonna hit up Bimini, Bahamas, Key West, and then have a day at sea. So
okay, say it one more time because you broke up. You're gonna hit what?
Oh, did I? We're hitting Key West, Bimini, Bahamas, and we have a day at sea.
Bimini, Bahamini, Boo, or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I was Bimini, Bahamas. Say that like 10 times fast. You can. It's hard.
Fun times. Take your microphone. Maybe we'll have you broadcasting from the ocean liner. That'd be fun.
From the ocean.
So where can we find you on all these great adventures?
At Upon a Star Jen. That's where I'll mostly be posting, especially while we're away next week. And then I'll be at Disney over the weekend. So get a little bit of ocean, you get a little bit of Disney.
Perfect.
So.
I can't wait to have you come back to talk about multi-pass and single pass. I think that'll be a good conversation.
I'm excited to have that.
Because Kyla will also have been back. She's there now. And so I'm hoping that she'll be to give her take on it as well. So we'll force her to be on, guilt her to coming on, which she loves her fans. She'll be like, oh, I don't know if I want to come on or not, but she's going to come on because she loves the show. And she loves all her people. People love Kyla. So so you can find me on Facebook at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. Find me online on Instagram at The Magic on $1. And of course, find Upon a Star and all the places, the TikToks and all the threads and Facebooks and all that good stuff. And find the show, the MSC podcast, and all those places as well. And let us know what your dogs are. Hit us up one of the messages, comment on one of the messages, or send us an email at themscpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you as well. And as with any podcast, be it this podcast, the movie podcast that I do, Jen's Divas Dish Diz podcast, which still exists. It's still there. You'll get there. One of the best things you can do is go on to whatever podcast forum you're listening to, whether it's iTunes or whatever, and rate and review. Leave some stars. Leave a little note, even if it just says, "I love this podcast. I like this podcast." Whatever. That helps the podcast get seen. That helps the podcast get known. And so so go and do all that. So Jen, until next time, next week or the week after, at some point, I know we'll all see you. For Jen, for Dave, hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.